YouTube for a moment. I noticed on YouTube there is like a group of big men running around. Now, I first came across this phrase, the Society of the Big Men, when I was doing my history research. There was a group back in the 1920s, a group of dweebs, actually. They were not big men, but they called themselves the Society of Big Men. And they were basically some dweebs, some intellectual type of dweebs running around trying to be big men, smart men, and thought they were better than the rest of humanity. So we've got the weirdness coming to YouTube. We've got these big men coming around. They make little comments on your channel, and they think they know everything. There's a certain group of Eurocentric big men that run around and make comments, and I look at their channels and I see what their history of comments they make, and I realize these guys are legends in their own minds. They think they're big men. But let's look at the real truth of these little dweebs. Obviously, their lives are steeped in negativity. They're not living the kind of life they should be living. That's why they have to come home from work. They run home or catch their bus home because they probably don't have a car or something like that. But anyway, they get home, they run to their computers and get on YouTube and start looking for videos to go around and make comments so they can engage people and start debating with them so they can feel like big men in their lives. They want to be big men, okay? The big men, when they're really just little men, little desperate dweebs, sitting in the loneliness of their rooms. Obviously, they have no life because the first thing they do is run to YouTube when they get home. They can't wait to get here, to come to somebody's channel and thumb it down and make a comment. I've actually banned the two recent big men. Every time they come to show up, I just ban them and delete their comments because I know what they are. Now, when you look at people that got to run around and do this to make themselves feel like big men, obviously they're coming from a low self-esteem place. Basically a dark place, and they come home and they spread that darkness through their cameras, through their YouTube channels. Actually, if you look at the truth of it, very few of them make any videos themselves. They hide in the dark because they're big men, and they come out and make a little comment. I watch what they do. Whenever they show up here, I go back to their channel, and not many, but some of them will like hide their channel, or they'll delete the channel right after they make a comment because they're big men. Remember, they're big men, and big men, they always want to feel good about themselves. So they go out and they make this comment, and they, on someone's channel. I saw them do it to a girl. I believe she was a burn victim. Oh, but a big man came in and made a comment about how unattractive she was. And he felt like a big man in his life. He felt good about himself. He probably whacked off thinking about himself later on. Oh, how smart he was to make that comment to that poor little girl. So I traced their channel back, and I look at their comments. They always have a history of comments, and I go to where they make comments on. Many of them are racist. Now, recently I got an argument with one of the big men about blacks and being racist. And if you look at the definition of racism and racist, black people can't be it because we don't have that superiority thing that a racist has. See, a racist thinks he's better than everyone else. That's why he has to put other races down. And there's only one group of people on the planet that qualifies for that. Now, blacks can be prejudiced and practice prejudice, if we make up that word, but we cannot be racist or practice racism because we have nothing to prevent anyone from having. I don't want to be a downer on my race and all that kind of stuff, but I believe in the brutal truth. We're not high on the totem pole to prevent other people from like moving into neighborhoods and stuff like that. Now, some big man will come back and say, well, what about the ghetto? We can't prevent people from moving to the ghetto. We have no control. If a white person wants to move in the ghetto, he can move to the ghetto. Okay, you might face prejudiced people, rather words, from other blacks or from blacks in the ghetto, but it's not racist. So I got into a comment with one of these arguing with these idiots. Not arguing, but I made a comment, and he replied back, made a comment back to me, and just basically Eurocentric trash. That's all I saw. So I don't engage these people very much. When I realize that their minds are closed to truth, and they need to feel good about themselves. If they don't feel good about themselves, they go out and do stupid things, like blow buildings up, shoot a bunch of people, and stuff like that. So we got to make these big men, these big men feel good about themselves, okay? Because they got low self-esteem. They got small minds, and they do small-minded things. Like go around to start, arguments. They go to black channels and make racist comments because they want to feel like big men. Caucasian folks are already the dominant people on the planet. What's feel bad about that? But these guys, obviously, in their own personal lives, like they go to work, they probably work in IT or they're probably maybe they're janitors or something, But they got to go home, they got to, not feel so bad about themselves, because when they feel bad about themselves, they can't do anything good. So they got to feel good about themselves. So they go around and make, comments, stuff like that. Because they're big men. Big men can do that. Do they hit the gym? No. They're too busy on YouTube making comments. They're not big physically men. In fact, they're small, as I said, small-minded men who want to have this big ego. That when you see someone with a big ego, that's a sign of a small mind. Okay? It goes around and casts hateration on people. Small-minded people do that stuff. They go and, like I said, thumb down the video, make the little comments so they can feel good in their own personal lives. Because remember, it's about them. Like spoiled little babies, they got to make it all about them, how they feel in their personal lives, because their whole lives are so fucked up. No women by their side, obviously, because if they had a woman by their side, they would be on YouTube making these goddamn stupid comments. They want to keep them busy. They'd be too busy with their woman doing things that are productive instead of unproductivity. Come to YouTube and making these big man comments. Because I'm a big man. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I ban big men when they come to my channel. I have to be real about it. Be real. When you really think about it, examine these people's lives, they're living some holy hell. You got to be in total hell to want to come on YouTube to make all these negative comments to people's channels. Because I see them, as I said, I go to people's channel, I see these guys making these comments. And as I said, the majority of them, 99% of them are like Caucasian males. I don't know what's wrong with you brothers out there who got to do this shit. But my white brothers, you guys got to clean these people out, man. Do something about your brothers who got to feel like this. But anyway, they go to the channels, they make the comments. So I go look at who the people are, as I said, and I realize they're one of those people. Well, you tell they're one of those people. They make these stupid comments. And one thing I noticed recently is that for my Caucasian brothers, no racial, just point out facts. I just point out the facts, right? These men, these big men, they are easily persuaded to ideologies that make them feel good. Feel good. Like they want to, despite Caucasian scientists, geneticists, and all that, they trace down the origin of humanity. But many of them will run to like religion so they can feel good. It's all about them feeling good, remember? Feel good. So, or they'll make these false arguments. I just came from a channel. False arguments. Caucasian people originated in Africa. Wait for it. Really? Okay. So you might see one of those big men come to the channel and make big men comments. Oh God, I would love to meet one of these dweebs in real life. These cowardly motherfuckers. I would love to meet with them face to face. Good God. That'd be, what kind of heaven would that be? That'd almost be better than having sex right now. I would love just meet one of these motherfuckers in person, so I can see what a big man he really is. Yeah. But they can be all powerful on YouTube, and they got the power of the thumb down and the power of the comment. So anyway, when they show up, let me know. Also, let's talk about the haters for a moment. You know, the haters that come here, those are another example of big men, okay? I may have said something they didn't like that made them not feel good. So they got to come here and, you know, their lives are all fucked up. You know, these guys are, you know, having trouble with their dating lives. Their lives are just fucked up. And if they can't see their way to the light, that I'm spitting out some truth here about real life, they want to stay in their darkness. They come in, they want to spread the darkness around. Okay? They may be following some guy that's made them feel good. Sure, brother, you can get the hottest girl out there. Hey, put your eyeball back in. It's rolled out again. But you can get the hottest girl out there, brother. You ain't got to do any work on yourself. Just say my magic lines. Yeah. It's okay. You feel good now? It's all about them feeling good. Really. Because these guys' lives are so fucked up, they just look for something that'll make them feel good. Just for a moment. So when they make the comments like on the forums and stuff, like just go to all the forums and they come in and make the little comments. I think, God, this guy must feel like a legend in his own mind. Talking some trash. Well, as I said, when they show up, they go. So let me know if you see any big man comments on the channel here. All right? Peace, brothers.